023-741-7411. 941 Allen Pike Cynthiana KY 41031, 18,592,343,510, J Patton 45 at outlook.com 401-17-3730. SLPOE. ECA 26 Alpha EHD 9. Commando Assassin. 2110233-686657. 12182132335, 92980111215 equals. Lloyden 726 to 8M8M45M9. W96849-266. NSSPS. Experimental Physicist Mathematician. AADD_ABHEAA. Aerospace Aviator Defense Division. Astronomy Biomedicine Howmean Exobiologist Aeronautic Astronaut. July 28, 1980. 223-741-7411. In the Light of Delight by Patton Wilson 2018. Escaping the adventure, we ride the eggs out to the lake unto the tree house that grows to the stars. It will be cold and dark soon. There will be trouble here. It is not so, for there to be otherwise a fit or crying shame of a way to understand. Revise the addition. Give another answer, 24. X. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please be aware of the question at hand. The answers are for the revisions underway and, also because of my behavior, and eccentric turmoils and, or malfunctions. May the way to crawl before we walk, is to milk, the way of swimming before you crawl. Some must have once never had said, the road to perception. The whole in reality that I am. Perception is mine, but though we have natural objects baryonic matter, most of my mind is pervaded by empty darkness and dark energies. So much more apparent is this constant singularity. 10, 14, 24, x equals ABCD. Then noticing and change in temperate weather ratios, add the notion of Arctic animals of the past ice age. Over 10,000 years have passed since then. And 700,000 years before, where there were humans of some wayward sort. If no one knew it, I'd say the listeners of the birds in ape times were more prone in the forces to sing, too, being Homo sapiens to a full degree. Forgetfully I noticed the way of silence, and the quiet of travel, and chaos for justice. Sleep and Jungian dreamscape, bird song, and whatever bones I've gotten left, remember the forgiven God of which we have our daily bread and rent and poverty and, or riches, we will be forever immortal and illuminated with enlightenment's galaxy. The valley and hills will sing of the man who has no dastardly defeated villains conquered, must be disciplined with this everyday adventure quest in the parameters of mathematics, however finely tuned and propped for gravity's revenge. I must alas and also remind ourselves and our witnesses of this improper say, must you have a question for to a means of an conclusion. The next way to understand the unplanned surprise of a wavelength of an equation is to relate to 45 plus 1 equals 46. Chromosomes. DNA. RNA fastest to parallel incontrovertible new age biomedical engineering of this new message. My biorhythms are still awakened in this unicorn's shed. Hay in bed. Waking this vision, this reality of its own. Smell the wake and face the music. One man's paradise is another man's other side of the fence. This fence is part of this reality we live within. So as to have my whole in which we are within this reality, I must relate to perceiving my version of the natural truth. We must coexist upon any subject on the table of perceiving truth, respectively. There is a tree where I know only to bloom eggs, so once in snowing day the tree was struck by lightning and caught fire, scattering the doves in the tree branches. The doves flew into the creek, where the rose bushes are. The thunderclap of this connection of electricity from the sky realm of cold. The sheep in the field were frightened unto the roses in the creek, Choa's, blood in the waters of night frozen in shepherd time. Infinite egg-blooming egg tree. This tree blooms universes. The singularity is the spark of glowing radiation and variating microbiome, all ready to be membranes for the micro nor the macro, quantum electron. Ed 9 at 686657, Patton Wilson. Desktop memo 8.922211-156715. Willilin. Patton Wilson. Patton Wilson ed 9 at 686657. My twin children, the both of them becoming, two girls, ready for life. Pass you by as it comes. Play me a lullaby, sing me to tearful rests, unknown for the mother we've lost, or just found. Hope-filled futures of mystical dreamscapes and scientific findings. Theological expectations and the steps we need to walk the ways the cobblestoned road of evolution. With enough time at nothing and tree houses to build, enough to accomplish for at least treasures thought not of you, time capsules within. And weather predictions and apparatus has been constructed for a contraption of ethos or reasoning, at will, there is a way. A new message for my beloved daughters and the tea table nailed to the top of their playhouse, nice and peacefully, quaint and serene, the yard and their dolled-out playhouse, an eye for sound dreamer. Waking with the idea, you opened your eyes first from within me. You opened my heart. My lessons are now likened unto pure chastity as and there withstanding the natural connection to our perception of this interested experiences, there of the specialists of certain and amount of one or two separate fields. The three of us all in some way bummed on the mathematics of natural selection. And not going in separate directions. We form a class of the unknown already. Conglomerated about a truth and two imaginary truths. Another, time and the compatible parallel of the blank page, or the newborn wren. Fly or die. Not to say a figure of dimensions could be learned by stating that the Trinity of God or the naturalist point of view in a state or moreover beneficial government can and will be given time as an allied force of natural surroundings. Compare how civilization has had so much to look back upon. With such comfort and, or safety much less written. The first books are for development as is the supplementary promotions. Can you say that a mother has passed on to another world? Yet to leave be a memory of passing and celebrated works, another blessing and knowledge that graces us is that determination through this active experience has brought about a sense of clarity to our documentation. Evident as it may be necessary to retain an accomplishment, any of much worth to history. As such history of many much ways of remembering things even learned or unlearned, people whom in family trees of such accord bring light to reason after a lifetime has already passed. Into the mystical unknown to sleep of a worth of new comings for those left behind, for all we will be and long lasting to become. You see I am only of a male perception. I the Freudenite must be given a duty for your safety and relative worlds. I am sought to entertain your notions of mindfulness. As is, you there the children of a wealthy security to socially stable parameters must be giving into notice, here with total openness. Sit ladylike and let me see you present finally. In my hand I've an object. Open your books to page 45. In the book of chromosome. And place your palms upward so that I may kiss the hand of my students. Here at home school, we are. And alone. And ready the ways of focus to specifically only two aspects of thought, mind and body. However romantic this is, must now to say of numbers and letters. To sensuality and cleanliness, my sincere respects, this kiss of wishes and prayers. There will be no more of this eroticism. Only in the speaking of education, anatomy or medicine. To unruling. At your ages again of that of both 10 years old. Yes. Good, yes. Now we move on, your names. Smiles alike, and soldier salute, this is not a joke. If there is a question of conduct I will give you a choice. Kiss your hand, or each other's or mine, or none. All of the above. Thought experiment of course, yet my records show of one Dolores E. Wilson and one Samantha E. Wilson. Present. Yes, very well. All in good hands and disciplined etiquette. Now the wavelength of x to 24. Y plus 1 equals 25. As of course numbers represented either way by letters. 10, 14, 24, derivative, 0.0416666666. X equals ABCD. One more number besides chromosome count. 45 plus 1. This lesson begins. This naturalism has its utilitarian resourcefulness. However, before relative self-explained assertions to the explanation not unlike paradox-invented languages. Much to do with opinion, not the ways of absoluteness. No definite script for progression of the individual singularity. The signal of self-faith must be liberated, however gracefully, yet what would you kiss if you even exist? If you did not, however, live to kiss in extreme cases, what to do, with a future for dutiful worth? That therein triumph for both victory and accomplishments a detail for subsequent trials and weathered foothold. Something of this. My breathe, my quiet talk. A book not be a resource unto reality most accurate accordingly bright towards those less shadowed actions of windowing, shadows of reflections and the infinite ink that well up pulsing like a first feeling and emotion. Heartfelt procurement for community, society and intellectual culture boundaries. Ago for many years there is not untrue a need and, or want for mistrust. The natural order of social peace comes aloft notwithstanding and normal, even repetitive, daily recourse and ritual notions of time massively collected by isolation upon a certain quarantined scene. Say for the profit of the whole juncture, as purely scientific. Say for free pervasive recourse, that of a methodical reward. Say not the tree groweth that which is not planteth. A tree may not grow without a planter, a shepherd, a creator, or a ways and means to document order and justice, at any point of precept. Many a time at rest, swaying focus and predatory dreams, you must quantify the dreamscapes. You must look back and wonder. For assurance, for precaution and school spirit and clarity, safety upon security, and final acknowledgement and rebirth, a sense of renewal of purity and self-awareness, for the 3 plus 0 equals 1. 3 numbers are one number, 3 to be exact. Possibly, 3 stones are 3 separate stones, yet lined up in one line, is one line, and moreover can be triangular, as well. Yet one triangle, still, made of 3 stones. See. Not too difficult. Kiss the stones instead of my hand. Kiss each other on the lips and embrace friendship that will be invaluable as a moonlit night. A breath of trust now. A matter of pleasure, or interest. Maybe even love. Likened to this infallible sensation of pleasure, a kiss on the lips of each other brings lust. Brings embarrassment and I am sure a wonder of uncharted standards to fret about. Or maybe, as I spy the 2 young women sleeping under my spell and lullaby, I observe their eyes are closed. They have been writing this notice to you from the unconscious state of dreaming. To wake and to never know my touch, yet to hear a voice of kindness, you would begin to worry, maybe of past remembrances. I am a victim, you say. Possibly and without question, myself. Mother Rachel E. Bird to our home and upon her return to an eternal star or island of diamonds. Quite fit for a king. A child of our own, all 2 of them, and for everyone to notice. Once there were seashells, but here there are only 1. Hermitage and adventure. The immortal debate of question, talking of the subjective, or the objective, we see that nature provides almost any supplement. Ask this notion as a question. Or now state you question for the record can now be regarded as derogatory, in the meaning of kisses compared with stones and seashells, for all time's sake, if time were only a physical property attainable but this transit of thought. Not to mention enough of what action or action upon object, or object upon object, in action of. Subsequent analogy. The parallels of time and space here over classical understanding and New Age skeptical resonance, has a method of conglomerate energy of sorts to it. Now, if a stone were to be placed inside the seashell then kissed by my lovely children, placed within a box and left for 45 days safe and undisturbed, then after the 45 days uncovered and set to rest, the situation, of which the momentum of thought and studying, what is to this new system of comprehending that which builds character amongst a persons compared to the supporting of each other's needs and content, self-worth and, or effectiveness. Effectiveness which has determination now and much needed care. Yet I talk of this kiss or this affectionate care for a stone or a seashell. So now I must clarify what is prominently evident. So here I have to provide sanity to any field of study, that of which is bent on poking at a conjecture that of infection only to become dependent upon disease, then, if proper then it be of good nature to conclude that if there is but infection then there will become sickness. If ill, then healed. If kissed then stoned, if in time made of valuable, seashells. Only kisses can be infectious, however communicable. My point of not even have acquired 2 daughters, nor stones, nor a seashell without time from the beginning. My acquired space. Our parallel time. Transforming reason for science. Lastly I must begin to discredit my own words to Rachel, the mother of Dolores and Samantha. The stone of my love to Dolores, the seashell of my evolution to Samantha, and all good remembrances to my time for the lips of Rachel, kisses. For my pervasing time. My enduringly solid a steady roundabout of information for those whom appreciate it, or not. What those who learn from this study. More power to them, yet sorry to those who have no solidity, not that much possible by now perceived and assimilated into our ways of an end. That of such no child should know, the completion of a dream for the way for a begin, again. Love, Patton Wilson. Eggs. A Peculiar Novelty, by Patton Wilson. Once there was a lady whose life was dull, no one ever visited her. She even ever woke every day ritualistic like and went to bed at a reasonable hour. She was very intelligent, yet she was never received well at parties and at the schools she participated in. All her life she dreamed of being secretive, and always contradicted herself by going out of her way to be obvious, and to be noticed by a person she thought lived next door to her. She never even found out if there was even, living, a man or a woman in the house next door. At all, it was a mystery, but still, though, no signs of a resident next door, the lights would illuminate the windows at this next door place, all hours of the night and day, so eventually this lady, so normal and repetitive, went into this next door abode and left a note, on the kitchen table, saying, that she was worried of having no neighbor and still a house there, seemingly alive. She went home. And there, sitting at her table was a young boy, whom she had never seen before. He had frightened her yet, remained calm, and explained that he was only wondering why she had left the note at his table, in the house next door, so she calmed down and began a conversational attitude with him, and learned that his parents had left for the supermarket one day and never returned. This was 100 years ago. She asked this boy how he stayed so youthful, and he replied that since there was no food that his parents would have fed him, if they had come back, that one day, then he would have grown, but Alas, due to a medical condition that he could no age, unless he ate. So she felt upset and pretentious. How could she feed this boy and not make him age? Because she figured, if you age, eventually you will die. Yet she didn't want him to starve. So she let him have a drink of milk from her refrigerator and put 2 eggs inside the cup. Why 2 eggs? Because it just goes to show that milk is better for you with some substantial diversity, and you might stomach starving for only 1 drink in 100 years. So this boy left and went to his next door home, and this lady fell asleep for 100 years, only to awaken, alone in this next door house, to find 2 eggs and a cup of fresh cold milk sitting next to the bed. She would not, however, though drink the milk nor have the eggs. So she went to see if her home was still next door where it was supposed to be, but it had been aged and torn down, years before. Now this lady was crying. She nevertheless ran away, and has been seen here and there haunted, forevermore, looking out for little starving boys, and cursing those who would not have anything to do with their milk and eggs.